The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical, paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com and use the promo code MANWHORE. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
What's up, all you New York whores and Canadian cucks and Brit tits? This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Can you hear that air conditioner? Can you? Because it's not going off. I'm not going to turn it off here. Normally, when I record, I turn off the air conditioning just for that. But it's not going to happen right now because I'm just not going to have a heat stroke for you. I love you all so much, but not going to sit here in a pool of my own ball sweat for you. So you're just going to have to deal with that sound. You staying cool? You guys staying hydrated? Gotta stay hydrated. I hope you were able to manage to still have like a hot and heavy week, despite the actual hot and heaviness. But seriously, did anyone fuck? I'm surprised anyone had sex in New York City this past weekend. It was 100 degrees. It felt like 110 at sometimes. And I still kept a full dance card. I kind of want to tell you about it. You know, I don't know if y'all remember an episode I did with this woman, Jen. Would have came out a couple years back. She's a married woman, was contemplating divorce, and we had met like 9 years ago. We met in the summer of 2010. The shortened version of the story goes, I was at a bar waiting to go to a casino, but I was watching the end of a World Cup game, and these two like really attractive older women started chatting me up, and like an idiot, I didn't realize they were flirting with me till kind of the end. But this woman, Jen, this cute blonde, goes to the bathroom, and her friend rats around and goes, oh, her and her husband used to be swingers. And now I was a really hip 21-year-old who listens to, Savage Lovecast. So I was like, ooh, I know about swingers. But genuinely, I think she thought that was supposed to get a rise out of me. But for me, it was this validating experience because outside of, wild Craigslist encounters, I had never met someone, quote unquote, normal in the quote unquote real world who did non-monogamy, ethical non-monogamy. And so I knew I felt that way. I knew that made sense in my brain of how I was going to love and how I want my relationships to look. So it was this validating experience of meeting someone who looked normal and sane and happy and had a family and also did this. I told her recently, I was like, that was a plot point in the canon of Billy Procida. We made out later that night, and we had a very, very brief sexual encounter like a week later, and then never didn't see her again. And it's been 9 years, and we've talked and flirted off and on for that full time. Definitely got reinvigorated when she did the podcast, because at the end, like we grabbed like some lunch, and then she drove me to my next appointment. But we sat in this car, kind of staring at each other, waiting to kiss one another. There was this massive amount of sexual tension. Our foreheads were against each other's. And then she said, I don't think I should right now. And I think in her mind, it was like, this seems like it's going to be an impulsive decision. And when I do this, when I cheat on my husband, because at the time, and still kind of, they're not technically non-monogamous. So she was like, I think she didn't want it to be an impulsive decision. I think she wanted it to be a very active decision. So we did not do anything. And just we flirted for years. We've made plans. They've had to get canceled on both sides multiple times. And then finally, after 9 years of pining after this babe, who I met when she was, 37 or 38? So, like, she's in her, mid to late 40s right now. And still has a killer body. But we finally went out. And it wasn't it wasn't a fuck date, you know? It was it was a fuck date, but it didn't feel like a fuck date. Like we didn't like meet up in a motel room and just like shag all night. Like we met up and we shared our first kiss in 9 years, which felt so natural and not even like, it didn't feel like it was like, oh my God, you know, there was no buildup. It was just like, oh, hey, sweetie, and a kiss. And we went out, we grabbed some dinner, a very long dinner. I had probably one of the best steaks I've ever had at Momofuku Nishi, which I later, towards the end of the date, realized was a restaurant I could not afford. That was a fun check to get. And then we went back to this hotel room that we got, and yeah, like the sex was hot and passionate, but like there was also these way tender moments, and it was a very special night. And not because this is the beginning of a newfound relationship. We don't not have plans to sleep together again, but we also don't have plans to sleep together again yet. But it was like this culmination of flirting, and I just kind of left and I walked into the sweltering heat and realizing like I'm really fucking lucky. Life is pretty awesome when you go out and you get what you want and you go after something that you have pined over. Obviously in a respectful, consensual fashion, but you know, this never had to happen. It only happened because we both kept reaching out to someone that we often thought about. She's an important woman in my life, and not important in a romantic way. She is just important. The same way like one of your more involved high school teachers is important in your life. You know, they validated something in you. They believed in you. They encouraged you. This one just, you know, did the encouragement with her vagina, but like I don't know. I'm feeling very happy and special about it. I also went to Hacienda on Saturday night with a woman I've been seeing. I've been we can say dating. We had that talk, the early stages of dating talk, where we're like, is this fucking or dating? Like, are we testing out the romance, or are we like feigning romance so we can fuck each other? And so it seems like we're dating, and that was really fun. And in general, I've just been, I thought it was time to give you all a bit of an update of what Billy's dating life is like. If you're part of the Champagne Room, my super secret Facebook group for patrons, you probably know a lot of this stuff because of our weekly Sexual Achievement Sunday thread. But I know I haven't updated many of you that much. And there are a couple other women who are in the sphere right now. And I guess I'll update you as those develop. But, you know I've made frequent mention to having low libido, experiencing low libido for several months earlier this year. And I've only just gotten back this summer and late spring. I've only just gotten back into feeling horny and having sex and dating and actively seeking out people. Potentially too much. So I just wanted to update everybody about that. And that was really special. But then there was this other experience where, I hosted a speed dating event recently, last week. And when I host these speed dating events, they do their matches on the company's website. And my boss will toss me into like the offerings kind of as a way of like, hey, Billy, if you thought anyone was cute, consider it a bonus tip for what we pay you. And I don't tend to always seek women out on it, but occasionally, like usually every event, one or two women will select me. They'll be like, oh, maybe these guys were so bad. The host can't be that shitty. He's got pretty eyes. And I matched with like a bunch of women selected me from the group. And then I was like, ooh, cool. But whenever I connect with women from the speeding event, people I did not speed date with, remember, these are women who just watched me run the event. I will reach out to them. I'll contact them and I'll say, hey, yeah, you're really cute. Maybe get together sometime. And then I will say, by the way, I know you wouldn't know this because we didn't chat, but I'm non-monogamous. But more often than not, when I match with people through the speeding service, when I share that I'm non-monogamous, it's an instant turnoff. They're like, oh, I mean, look, you're really cute and you seem really funny, but I'm monogamous, or I'm looking for something serious. Just a side note, everybody, non-monogamous or poly doesn't mean not serious. It just means not monogamous. Monogamy does not equal being serious. How do ethical non-monogamous people meet each other? Or how do they meet people who are open-minded to that? Now, it's one thing when it's like Tinder and Bumble and stuff, because I just have that in my bio. Anyone who talks to me on those apps, they know what's up. I know Field is out there, but Field is kind of hit or miss in the sense that, like, you know, it's part non-monogamy dating. It's part kink stuff. It's part unicorn hunting. It's part vanilla dating, but maybe we want to go to sex parties together. There's not a lot of a focus on there. It's kind of just like if FetLife had an app. So like Field is nice, but it's not focused enough. And then when you're in the real world, like you don't wear a sign that says, "Hi, I don't do monogamy, but I also enjoy romance and dating and falling in love." So I guess I'm leaving this as an open-ended question, but how do those of you who practice non-monogamy, how do y'all find other people to date? How do you date other people outside of the basic apps like a Tinder or a Bumble? Like, what do you use? How do you do it? Or when you're meeting people in the real world, how do you broach that subject? Or how do you feel someone out? So, shoot me an email, manwhorepod@gmail.com. Would love to know what your non-monogamy dating strategies are. Very curious. In the meantime, I've been pitching my boss at the speed dating company. I've been like, we should throw a non-monogamy speed dating event. That way's, everyone who's on the speed dates, like we know we're all on board. And we don't have to waste our 3 minutes of the speed date on that. Well, that monologue there, probably more entertaining or at least more interesting than my, Trump rant last week. But we got a great show this week, everyone. I've got on porn star, porn filmmaker Jane Way. And I can't wait to share them with you in a bit. But first,
get them hot. Get them dates. Show dates.
Look, it's next weekend, everybody. It is coming up, ManWhoreCon. And within ManWhoreCon, I would love for all those of you in the general New York metropolitan area to come out to the ManWhore Podcast live show on August 3rd. August 3rd, on the Lower East Side at Karma Lounge, I'm going to have comedians getting heckled by their exes, and we have the comedians lined up. We've got Trey Gallion. We've got Julia Schachter from Keith and the Girl and the Orbits podcast. We've got Alicia Hush. We've got they're very funny people, and their exes will hopefully bring some interesting tension to the table. Tickets are $15 online. They're $20 at the door. We do have limited seating. Okay, last year we sold out this venue. It's an intimately sized venue. So August 3rd, New York City. I want to see you there. Get your tickets at manwhorepod.com/tickets. Again, that's manwhorepod.com/tickets. Here's another great way to connect with your fellow fan whores. Football season's coming up. This isn't an ad read, I swear. Football season's coming up. I'm a big NFL fan. I love my New York Jets. I also enjoy playing some fantasy football. And every year since I've started this show, we do a Fan Whore Fantasy Football League. So if you would like to be part of the 5th annual Fan Whore Fantasy Football League, we have some spots open. We do a 10 or 12 team league, depending on the demand. Shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com. Secure your slot. We tend to do the draft around the end of August, usually like that last week of August. And it's a $30 buy-in. It's nothing crazy, but keeps it, fun and interesting. Okay. Before I get to this week's guest, Jane Way, this is really, really exciting, everyone. Last week we reached, and I say we because like this whole podcast thing is kind of a group endeavor in a way. I make the thing, you listen to the thing, some of you pay for the thing, and we all get to enjoy what this becomes. We reached a major milestone. My Patreon page crossed $1,000 a month pledged in earnings, which is, yeah, you can clap. It's okay. That's fine to do. Do your little golf clap in your car or at your desk or wherever you're listening. This is a big deal for me as a creator. It's taken maybe a little bit too long to get there, but it may not sound like a ton of money, but $1,000 a month as a fairly consistent, can almost count on it income is massive. That covers my basic living costs. That covers my rent, my Metro card, my utilities, the production costs for the podcast, which are minimal, but they add up. All those things, that I need to keep a roof over my head, the wireless, the Wi-Fi going on, my Netflix running, and the podcast up online. That's covered. And that means a great fucking deal to me. So, and I know I do the Patreon thank yous every week, but I really do want to say thank you to everyone who is a member of our fan whore community on Patreon. And I also want to thank those of you who have been members of the community and maybe are no longer. I am so indebted to you because I am literally living a dream. I get to be a full-time podcaster. I get to spend my days not in an office, but focusing on creating sex-positive content for you and planning these like live events and, having afternoon sex dates. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you everyone so much. That's such a big deal. $1,000 a month pledged is just so, it's a big deal. So thanks everybody. And that's my lead into the fan whore appreciation moment. I just thanked all of you as a collective, but this is a brief moment of the show where I do like to throw a few individual shout outs to some members. I want to say thank you to Tiffany R. Go Hoosiers. I don't know what a Hoosier is. I don't know if you're a Hoosier or if one wears a Hoosier or if you fuck a Hoosier. Like, what is a Hoosier? I don't know, but it seems important to your people. And you're important to me. Thank you so much to John Scott. Very brief, concise, consonant-heavy, cacophonous name, John Scott. I feel like that's like the default name for a superhero. They'd be like, what does he go by in the real world? It's just John Scott, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne. Thanks for your support, dude. And a big shout-out to Colton. I love your very creative subconscious. Thank you for sharing that very detailed sex dream starring yours truly. And I'm so glad to have you in the community, and we can't wait to get you in the Peep Show very soon. And you too can become a member of this community, and you can be supporting an independent content creator that you claim to value, that you seem to listen to every week, that you, I hope, enjoy. Membership begins with just as low as $2 a month, which, trust me, I'm happy with that $2 a month. You can become a member today, and you enjoy membership to these private discussion groups. You get access to over 100 bonus episodes and so much more. So you can become a member right now at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now for this week's guest, Jane Way. I've been wanting to record with Jane for a while. I've been following them on the Twitters for years. Big fan. One, a hottie. I was trying to think of like what the gender neutral terms for a hottie would be. And I was like, hottie. I was like, maybe babe, but I was like, no, hottie. That works. Total hottie, tattooed, into it, but also very fun, is fun on Twitter, but also informative on Twitter. Shares a lot about their disabilities, of which they actually have a lot. We joke about it in the episode, but it's like it just is God fucking with you. You should not have to hold on to so many oppressive cards. But they are fantastic and very industrious and impressive to talk to. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. A little side note, three things. One, this is the last of all of those AVN episodes I recorded back in January. So this was recorded a very long time ago, but it's coming out now. We recorded at the AVN Awards, where I've recorded with a lot of other awesome porn peeps. As such, when I was at AVN, like an idiot this year, I lost my voice right before I went. So if my voice sounds a little harsh, it's because I was still recovering from being a moron. And lastly, during this conversation, so Jane has a condition that I have trouble pronouncing, but suffers from a condition that causes them to go through bouts of weakness. like physical weakness, and these microphones are not feather light. So during this, I am holding my microphone to my face, but I'm also extending and holding a microphone to their face for a large chunk of it. So they're picked up a little lightly. So we've done what we could to raise their levels. But if you hear any hissing in the background, I apologize. But we're just trying to get so you can hear Jane clearly, because they have a lot of great things to say. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get to it. Let's get to my conversation with Jane Way. Jane Way and I would both agree that it is important to hashtag pay for some of your porn. That's why I'm a big fan of working with hotmovies.com. Paying for porn can feel expensive, and I understand. Technically you can watch it for free, but it's important to put money into that ecosystem. But it's so expensive if you have to pay $20 or $25 a month or $15 a month to a bunch of different people and studios and websites. But hotmovies.com gives you access to hundreds of thousands of videos from all these different porn stars and studios, all these different categories and fetishes, whatever you're into, they got something for you. And I think we've all experienced this when we have paid for porn on some other sites. There's like secret subscriptions you didn't know about because you didn't read the fine print. We should read the fine print, by the way. Hey, but we didn't. We were horny and our hands were covered in olive oil or whatever you beat off with. Don't judge me. So, maybe you didn't realize. And then 3 months later, you're like, why am I missing like hundreds of dollars in my checking account? Oh yeah, that free trial I signed up for that one site, but then I forgot that it was going to kick in at $30 a month afterwards. Yeah, Hot Movies doesn't do that. Hot Movies has my credit card information. They have never charged me when I didn't ask to be charged. And that's my favorite thing because it makes them a transparent site. So you're not going to feel duped. Like they have a free trial. You get 40 free minutes when you use promo code MANWHORE when you sign up. And if you put in your credit card information, but they'll never charge you until you go back in and actually buy something. And I think that's special. So, hey, when you're done listening to Jane Way on this week's Man Whore podcast, go on over to hotmovies.com, sign up with promo code MANWHORE. You're going to get 20 extra minutes on top of any package you sign up for. If you sign up for the free trial, it turns it into a 40-minute free trial. Again, go to hotmovies.com, promo code MANWHORE. But now let's get to the show.
I like it. I like someone holding my mic for me while I smoke a cigarette. It's good.
Yeah, you like having some sort of service boy.
This is the precedent I like to set for podcasts.
Yeah. I'm setting the bar kind of high for the future ones. Or it's like, hey, Billy, why don't you buy a fucking mic stand? Oh, that's a good point.
It's funny because my name's Billy too.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. My name's William. So it's funny because every time you're like, oh, Billy, I'm like, oh no, what did I do? I don't mind people knowing that, obviously.
I was about to ask. Well, how'd you pick the name Jane Way?
A Star Trek, obviously.
I don't know Star Trek.
You don't know Star Trek? It's Catherine Janeway is the Star Trek captain on the USS Voyager.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
She's the first female captain, which is weird for me to pick a female name, but it's a fictional surname. It's good times.
Yeah. Well, let me just adjust that a little bit. Yeah. Well, Jane Way, I'm glad we got to finally sit down and chat last year.
Little sleep through the interview.
little understandable sleep through.
I booked myself way too. I overbooked myself and I just crashed. And I was here with a client too, so it was definitely like it's not like I get to the hotel room and the labor stops. Yeah. You know what I mean? So. Well,
hey, you know what? The person I won't call out that slept through yesterday.
Oh no!
I never got like an overly apologetic text message from them. So you're great. You're fine.
I know. I felt so bad. I was like, I have to make it up to you.
But you're. I've been following you on Twitter for a bit. Like, you're really fun to follow on there. Like, we'll take away like the obviously like super hot, all that stuff. But it's like you're really cool to like follow on social media and talk about more than just porn and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm glad we could be here.
I like to be as approachable as possible.
Despite the gauges and the septum piercing and the shaved head.
People think I'm a hard ass, but I'm just like a very nice little autistic person that loves everybody.
So you're much softer and cuddlier than
Yeah,
you
than I
seem.
appear. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because you do have the very like anyone with my face comes within 5 feet of you vibe. You're gonna scream.
People think I'm gonna fuck them up, but I mostly just want to like snuggle. I'm doing the snuggling thing. I just like snuggling and being nice, and I love everybody pretty much until they give me a reason not to. So
Yeah. But then how do you differentiate between like obviously the sex you're having on screen, which might be different from the sex that you're having in real life, or just like the persona, not even the sex part, but like the persona parts. Yeah.
So I have multiple personalities, so it's very easy for me to compartmentalize because Jane is like a whole other personality, and like a lot of my personalities are integrated together, which is like a goal for people with multiple personalities. We try to integrate the alters, so I'm pretty integrated. I don't really black out as much, and I'm just not like very like. It was a lot worse when I was younger. I'd be like, I'd lose days and not know what I did and like all this stuff. But now that like Jane just developed as like I developed into my career, so it's really easy for me to like turn it.
They kind of all morphed into the professional.
Yeah. So there's like Jane as a part of me, so it's really easy to be me because it is a part of me.
Yeah. What was that? What was it like growing up with that?
It was really hard.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
it's really hard. Lots of trauma. It comes from too much trauma overload. So lots of trauma in my past. And it just kind of your brain creates these other personalities, because I always think of it as like if you have a glass of water and the trauma is the water, and if your glass gets too full, then you have to put it in other glasses. So that's kind of what the personalities are. Instead of having it all in one glass, you develop these other glasses that hold some of the trauma and make it a little more like a little easier for you to handle.
Did your parents like know what
No.
was going on? Like, did they think you were a rowdy kid at first?
Oh my God, no, I was the worst child. I was in foster care and all that fun stuff. And, so I was a really difficult child. I was my parents' first child, and they had me pretty late on. So they were like very confused, and it was very hard for them too. We're good now though. Like we're really, we're chill, and my parents love me a lot and are very supportive, and I've like obviously got psychiatric help, which is like really important when you have a mental illness.
Absolutely.
So I'm pretty like I'm decent now. We have a good relationship, but I was a really tough child to deal with, and I don't envy them at all.
When were you diagnosed? Like,
so I was they first thought I had it when I was around 13, but back then it wasn't like an actual illness, quote unquote. Like a lot of psychiatrists still don't accept it as like an actual thing.
Multiple personality,
borderline,
or
it's multiple personalities. So it's called dissociative identity disorder. So like it's a dissociative disorder. Now there's a lot more research around it and stuff, and people are more like, that's how I finally got my diagnosis, was a couple years ago. But like they suspected that I had it when I was younger, but they were like, it's got to be something else because it can't be that. So it was definitely a long road getting from there to here, which is sorry if anybody watches Star Trek, they'll understand the reference I just made.
Oh, that's why you made the face. Oh, geez, it's
it's.
I thought you were just like nervously admitting to like a long road and determining like, do I want to share this part or this part? It's like, no, you just made a nerd reference.
It's a really nerdy reference. The theme song, the worst theme song in the whole Trek franchise is. It's a song that goes, it's a long road getting from there to here, is like the opening line.
I trust you.
Yeah, it's the Enterprise theme song. So it's really terrible, and I try it, and I can't believe I didn't even mean to make that reference, so that's just how ingrained in my brain it is.
Wait, so they thought at 13, but then they were like, maybe not, and then later on
later on they're like, this makes the most sense. So.
And how old were you when they finally kind of were like, yeah, this makes sense, let's help them?
22? Like a year ago.
So, then what? The 9 years in between? What the
I was
fuck?
just like suffering and all these misdiagnoses and stuff. So They're like, oh, it's bipolar or it's BPD or this, that, and the other thing. And it was finally like, okay, well, this is what we thought it was 9 years ago. But so it's kind of where it's at.
But you've been doing sex work and porn for longer than you weren't diagnosed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was pretty big into my addiction and really all over the place and super sick for a lot of my earlier career. So
I got to imagine that, like, I mean, how did that play a role in, I mean, did it get in the way of what you were doing?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I'd sleep through shoots because the party personality would do all the drugs and stay up for days and all this kind of stuff. And my priorities really weren't in check, but it's really in the last year or two that I really got focused on my career, and I've been building the empire that I've been working on. And
the filthy fucking luxurious empire of yours.
Exactly.
Yes.
I got my movie out. I got Filthy Fucking Luxury out. I got the XBiz nomination. I got the AVN nomination.
Killer.
So I've just...
What are you nominated for AVN?
Favorite indie clip star.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's super exciting. Apparently there's like... I've never been to the AVN Awards before. I've been to other awards. But I've never been to these ones. So apparently there's like you get a sticker if you're a nominee, and you go to this press room and like do all this stuff. So I have a very big night ahead of me.
That's exciting.
But it is really exciting. I'm not expecting to win. It's just an honor to be nominated. But I'm really just happy to be here.
Did you find that pre-gang diagnosed that affected, I mean, obviously affected the business parts of it, maybe sleeping through things or whatever, but the shoot, like the work itself?
Yeah, it's just like now I'm just more aware of who I am and my body and my triggers and all that kind of stuff. It's just before I was coping the best way I could, but maybe it wasn't where I'd like to be at. So I finally got I must have been a year and a half ago then, because I got sober a year and a half ago and I got diagnosed and I really got my shit together. So, and I'm very happy, very happy about that, because it was close to rock bottom there for a while.
What's it like being a sober person in the industry? Because I've talked to some others who are like iffy about even discussing and being like that open about it, like, because they don't want people to think that there's some sort of drug adult someone.
No,
but
there's a good sober community in the adult industry. Like we have our own AA meetings when AVN rolls around and stuff like that. Like it's really, there's a lot of support. There's a lot of sober people. So I don't find it that difficult at all.
That's great.
To keep my edge. So.
Well, I mean, it's hard to lose an edge with your look. That's pretty impossible to me. But I mean, it is a week and weekend that is surrounded with like, there is a lot of drinking. There's definitely a lot of drugs around.
There's like free drinks or happy hour and stuff like that. Like it's so easy to just fall off the wagon.
I mean, I'm a gambling addict, and this is like this is a rough week for me.
Yeah,
it's really fucking hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine for sure. Gambling was like the one thing I could never really get into.
It really is the most expensive of the addictions.
Oh, try doing an 8-ball of cocaine a night you spend $60,000 on drugs in 5 months, and
fine, you win.
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah, in the height of it, I was doing like $700 of coke a night, and just myself. And then I would buy for other people because I'd be high, and I'd be like, because I'm one of those people that would just buy all the drugs and give them away because I really wanted to. I'd have my own, but then I'd want other people to be there with me.
You're kind of renting friends through the drugs.
Yeah, exactly. And my entire friend group changed once I got sober, and I'm really thankful for that because it's just not a point in my life that I'm very proud of, but I'm happy that I've gone through it.
Did you have any friends who made the crossover?
A couple.
That's good.
A couple of people made the crossover, but a lot of it was just toxic people and toxic situations. And I got sober. I think I moved to Toronto in 2016, and I got sober in 2017. So there was a good year of getting fucked up in the city. And then now, like, most of my friends are my hooker friends and my porn star friends, and I have a couple. My boyfriend's a civilian. My girlfriend's a stripper.
Does he like being called a civilian?
I mean, like,
Because comics, we call civilian. Like comics, we might call you a civilian.
Yeah. And then he doesn't get mad about it. He's been featured in a bunch of my premium Snapchat stuff that I've been doing, and we're actually setting up. We're gonna shoot him for Porn's Not Dead, and he's actually he's very charismatic on camera, and he definitely wants to get into the industry. So he's definitely an exhibitionist, which I love because I'm a total exhibitionist. We met in a Star Trek shitposting group on Facebook.
Why wouldn't you?
I know, right?
That's what you do.
So we bonded over our love of Star Trek, and then bonded over our love of having sex with each other, and then recording it. So it's definitely, he takes really good photos of me. He's like like that meme where it's like, I want an Instagram boyfriend that like takes all my photos and stuff. I just like stumbled upon that without even like trying to look for it. So
last time I was in Vegas a couple months ago, like I did a layover, and I had a friend, and she was like, hey, we were going to try to sneak a blowjob in before she drove me to the airport. She's like, can we put this on my premium Snapchat? I'm like, yeah, I love attention. Even if it's not necessarily on me, like I can pretend it is in my head.
It's still validation. It's great. I love my premium Snapchat because just everyone's like super cool. Like I post like a tit, and dudes are like, I love you. I love you so much. And I'm like, okay, this is good. I like this.
But is it also wild? It's like, yo, it's a tit. Like you act like you've been there before.
It's a good tit, though.
Oh no, your tits are great. Both tits of yours are great
They're
tits.
Wonderful.
But sometimes the way you see, especially like dudes at these conventions react, it's as if they've never seen tits before.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. But it's like porn star titties, right? Like it's a whole other kind of titty.
This is my stance on the whole, like dudes who obsess with taking pictures on the convention floor of titties that they already see online.
But it's real life titties.
I get that. And I'm saying you can see the photos online, but if you want to stop and get in my way trying to walk through, just so you can take a picture from the exact same angles that 1,000 other dudes where you can just go Google and find it, I say take a selfie with the tits or be in the picture with the tits, because at least now they are like is a personalized experience.
I disagree. If you take like first of all, a lot of performers charge to have photos taken with you, so maybe they're like poor, they spent all their money to try to get out here to just see their favorite porn star, and they want a photo to remember it by. I don't think it's that much. I think you're being too hard on them.
I mean, but I also have the same opinion on people who go to Rockefeller Center to take a picture of the fucking tree, where I'm like, take a picture of yourself in front of the tree.
You sound like you're from New York, and I know you're from New York, so it just solidifies that you're definitely from New York.
Yeah, maybe I'm old school, but I'm like taking a moment, like be excited about the real life titty. Be excited about this titties that you love watching on the internet.
But then you get a photo of the titty, and you get to sit there and look at the titty and be like, I took that photo of the titty, and I was there.
But whether it's the titty or the Eiffel Tower or the Rockefeller tree, I'm kind of like, take a few things in and like experience it and create that memory in your brain.
Well, a lot of people have issues with memories and need outside stimuli to kind of, like I'm a huge smell person. So
really?
Like I'll forget things until I smell something, and then it'll bring it back in me. Lots of people need outside stimuli to remember the exciting things in their life.
What's an example of that?
Trying to think, like I could be not thinking about my partner or an ex or something, and then I smell like something I associate with them, and it'll bring back all of these memories where I last smelled that smell, kind of thing. Like the same way that gasoline makes me think of like all those party nights that I've had, right? Like if I'm with my ex and I smell gasoline, and it's going to trigger those memories in me. It's just a different kind of different kind of stimuli. Some people like you are like, I can look at a thing and remember it. But like I have terrible memory, especially with multiple personalities, right? So I need those outside stimuli to kind of remember a lot of things that happen to me. So I think you're being a little bit, I think you're being a little bit hard on them.
Okay.
I won't hold it against you though.
I do though want like low credit. Like I am getting a hang of this switching with the mics.
Switching the mics? Why do you keep switching it?
Because they're heavy. Yeah.
Oh, they're heavy. Yes.
Well, because no, and please don't apologize. Like I'm happy to accommodate you. Please.
This is You're saving me all that.
Yes,
pain.
I am. No, I'm happy to. I'm saying I'm used to like being like this or like close here. It's the extension because now we're getting into
the biceps.
we're getting to like here and like some deltoid stuff. So it's like really right now I'm exercising and I thank you for that because I have not had time.
You're welcome.
This whole week.
That was my entire plan the whole time.
Oh, I'm glad you were thinking of me.
Of course.
Well, I think I first became aware of you. You were in like a news cycle, like maybe a few years ago.
A Vice documentary on me. Vice did a documentary on me as like a disabled gender fluid sex worker, and it kind of blew up. And now I beat Kate Mulgrew on the SEO. Like Google rankings. Kate Mulgrew is the girl who played Captain Janeway, or the woman, I should say.
So you own Janeway.
I don't own it.
No, but like on Google, you like my dad and I have the same name. You Google Billy Procida. I own Billy Procida.
Okay,
he may own William Procida, but like I own Billy Procida now, and he's not happy about it.
Well, that's his problem.
But so you've got Janeway. You beat out.
Actually, I met Kate Mulgrew.
Shut up.
No, I didn't. I told her that I used the Janeway name, and she thought that was really cool. And she signed me. She signed me a poster that says "One good Janeway deserves another." So I'm like, Janeway approved.
Do you just die at that point? You're like, I'm good.
I was like, I'm really glad she doesn't hate sex work, because I was worried that this older white woman would maybe be really, really shitty about sex work. And I waited in line for hours at this convention, high out of my mind. I had like snuck coke in and then ran out as I was waiting. And I was like a sniffling mess. She's like, didn't shake my hand because I was just like wiping my nose and it was disgusting. But it was really terrifying for me to be at a convention, because conventions, that was before I had my pre-AVN stuff. And I was really like, I'm autistic, so convention floors can be really, really difficult for me if I'm not. And then the coke just makes it worse, right? So I'm surprised I made it through it to meet her, but I did, and I made a terrible impression. But I hope she finds solace in knowing that I'm a much better person.
Wait, how'd you make a terrible impression?
I was just like,
oh,
the whole time I was like coked out of my mind. So I like I said, I hope she was proud of me.
Well, it sounds like you got the Janeway. Yeah, you got the Janeway seal of approval. I mean,
did.
but that is scary to meet someone like you idolize or whatever like that. Because like, what if they're? I am worried to meet Kevin Smith.
Oh no!
Because Kevin Smith. Oh, see, look, I'm really into like
you're working it.
I'm really into this.
You got in your groove.
Kevin Smith told a story about working with Bruce Willis on Cop Out.
Okay.
You let me know when you're done.
I'll pass it back to you.
I do not mind.
I'll pass it back to you.
He told a story about shooting Cop Out with Bruce Willis and how fucking terrible and horrendous it was. Previously, idolized Bruce. He's like, yes, I'll get to work with Bruce Willis. And he talked about how like a diva he would be on set, or how he didn't really want to do any of the press. And he was like, don't meet your heroes. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to meet Kevin Smith, because like, what if he's like kind of low-key kind of a jerk?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd be terrified. I met Jason Mewes because I got to interview him like back in November for some website.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, please be cool. Please. Like, one, I'm telling myself, fucking be cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm also like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, Jason, please be cool.
Yeah.
And luckily he was, although
that's good.
Jesus, the heroin will age you. He looks.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know.
Without the makeup, he looks terrible. He's like 40 and like he looks.
Heroin, never do heroin, kids, because I'll tell you, it'll ruin your life. It'll ruin your face. I luckily quit it before it got bad.
Affected all this wonderfulness.
I'm a baby. I'm 23. I'm still like, I got out pretty early, but like I started doing drugs when I was like 12 years old. I was like stealing codeine out of my mom's cabinet.
Am I allowed to say your home state?
Home state, New Jersey.
Yeah, you're a fellow Jerseyite. And so,
Yeah.
so what prompted all that 12-year-old craziness?
Well, I was 12 years old. I was in Canada at this point.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
wait. You started in Jersey.
No, I started in Canada.
Okay.
My mom's from Jersey, and then I moved in with my grandmother for a bit, and then I was a really, really hard to deal with kid.
Okay.
So-
okay. I was just, okay. So you did most of your growing up in Canada.
But I am from Jersey.
Mhm.
I am an American citizen and all that fun stuff, which thanks mom and dad, because it makes shooting porn way easier.
Yeah. How
How is that? How does it make it more difficult if
bigger companies need to sponsor a work visa for out of country talent, but I'm an American, so I can just file my own taxes.
But since you're based in Canada, like, is it difficult shooting in Canada as an American?
No. Well, like mostly. Okay, so if a company wants to shoot you, they'll usually pay for your accommodations and pay for your flight and stuff. So like,
we're talking about a Canadian company in Canada, or
no? Well, any company really.
Right.
Like they're gonna pay your accommodations.
Okay.
So it's easier to pay $100 flight from LA to Las Vegas or back and forth to shoot somebody who's already here, than to like pay like me from Toronto to come back and whatever. So I try to make trips out here when I can. But the biggest thing is the work visa. Like some companies, they won't really care, but like the bigger companies, like they want you to have your paperwork in check, right? So it's easier for me to shoot for companies. Just being an American citizen, if I was Canadian, I probably wouldn't get any shoots because you really need to like have your paperwork in order if you're going to shoot for anybody.
What are some of the porn law differences between Canada and America?
So Canada really doesn't have, the only really law is that you have to be 18. Like we don't have, like we also have an end demand model. So prostitution, we don't have prostitution charges in Canada.
What's end demand?
End demand is like they go after the clients and not the hookers. So like, so I can sell sex, but it's illegal for them to buy sex.
Gotcha. So
yeah, like ending the demand for prostitution, which sucks. And I'd rather it all be decriminalized. Yeah, I'd rather no one get arrested for hiring a hooker. But so, and that bleeds over into our porn laws, like because we can do prostitution. Generally, there are some other. Like I'm overgeneralizing it. There's a lot of like other laws specific to prostitution that are a thing, but like generally you can do one prostitute and you're fine.
So they're a little more chill,
yeah,
than the States. But it sounds like there is things, and you say like one, so it sounds like as if like you're a serial prostitute.
No, I meant like one prostitution. I didn't mean one prostitute as in like one person.
Like you doing one prostitution, right? So it's like. They're like, yeah, but don't do it serially. It's like, no, but that's the job.
Yeah,
it's like, that's kind of the idea.
You can't work. Brothels are illegal. Rub and tugs aren't.
Ooh, dope.
Yeah. No,
okay.
It's chill.
Then next time I go like out to Canada, I'm gonna be like, yo, where do I go to?
As long as you're not like banging the hookers or have condoms on the premise, they're pretty. You can have a spa and get a license, and strippers have to get licenses too. It's all licensed stuff. Sure. So
happy ending places, are they separate from legit places, or do legit places just like have a happy ending option?
No. So like there's a spa like for like RMTs, like registered massage therapists. But then there are like rub and tugs, so they're different. It's not like the RMTs who go to school to be an RMT aren't like usually jerking people off.
Curious. Which sucks for me because the type of happy ending massage I want is and it makes me like when I'm looking for providers more difficult because I do not want some like hot 23-year-old to like rub my back for 20 minutes and tell me to turn over so she can jerk me off. It's like I want like someone who gives a massage.
There is I worked at a rub and tug, and like I think half the girls there had their RMT license.
Yeah, see that's dope.
You just can't charge it through insurance because we have free healthcare.
But also, like, how cool would it be
to charge it through insurance? Yeah. I'm sure there are some RMT chicks who give rub and tug endings and run it through insurance. I'd be shocked if it didn't happen ever. Like, obviously it does. But yeah, so the laws in Canada are pretty lax.
Do you have? Are there any particular small ones that you find particularly, annoying?
What do you mean? Oh, the
Know.
laws.
Well, you said you were generalized. There's some small ones. And
I don't like that you can't work out of a residential space because I just work from home. I don't really care. I've got like a doorman and stuff. Like it's not a big deal, but like you can't work out of a residential space. You can't work together, like because then it's considered a brothel.
Wait, what do you mean work together?
Like with other escorts.
I was talking porn. Okay, so we're talking.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the laws. No,
that's fine too. So the
prostitution laws are the things that there's no laws that bug me about porn. There's not really like we don't even have like pass system or the FSC or anybody.
Pass isn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, pass isn't a law. Pass is more like industry.
I was saying like we don't have any governing bodies like that. Like, we don't have.
Do you think it needs it, or does it kind of like?
I think we do. I think that like the FSC is doing some really great stuff, and I wish it was more like unified in Canada. Like, we don't have the rules on like the 2-week test. You don't even need, like, obviously I get everyone to get tested on my sets, but like that's not like even a thing that most companies in Canada do. They don't ask for your paperwork. They don't really, like, as long as you and your partner, your scene partner, are okay with it, then they don't really like here, like, producers ask for your pass code and like everything, and in Canada we just don't have anything really like that.
It's unfortunate. You would think that FSC could just get a Canadian chapter, even, because
that would be dope. That would be dope. We really need it.
Have there been attempts to get something like that out there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But still, like I said, I'm 23, so it's not like I kind of am Toronto porn at this scene, but I'm not like the only or any sort of veteran by any means.
Sure. But you're still kicking, major ass. You got this filthy fucking luxury movie you just put out. I watched some of it because it's on hotmovies.com, which is my long-time sponsor. Big fan. Everyone, promo code MANWHORE, get 20 free minutes, and then go watch my and movie. Dump the 20 minutes over at Jane's video.
Yeah, check it out. You can also get it's on all the major VOD platforms like Pop Porn and Adult Video Empire, I think, all those fun stuff. And it's on Hot Movies.
It's a fun video. I like. I think I watched the scene that like took place like kind of like it looks like an alley kind of.
Yeah. So that's the scene with Kismet Charlton. We did that outside, like in an alley outside my house, and like we just finished filming it, and then security came out, and we're like,
nice work.
Yeah, so that was like that was definitely one of the riskier scenes on the film. I won't go into too much more detail, but it's really hot, and I fucked somebody with a beer bottle in a back alley, and you should go watch it on Hot Movies.
which if you have any sort of knee jerk reaction, like fucked with a beer bottle, but it's like if you look at Jane also, you'd be like, of course, Jane fucked someone with a beer.
Check a photo of me before you finish listening to this, so you kind of have a frame of reference. I'll plug my Twitter and stuff right now anyway, in case anyone's interested. So on Twitter, I am at Janeway. My move. Okay, cut. And
it's all right.
So my Twitter is at Janeway XYZ. My Instagram is Janeway_XYZ. And my website is, you guessed it, Janeway.xyz. So you can go check me out. I'm on ManyVids and all that fun stuff. The movie's actually on ManyVids. You can get separate scenes or you can get the whole film. And my website, you can get DVDs. We're having free shipping right now, just saying.
We'll remind everyone at the end to go do all that.
Okay.
But we almost I hope I like to consider, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, like almost like a suspended state of production of like of an idea. So we're in the pitch stage of
our thing.
Well, so we almost did some sort of like porn collaboration. Because I forget if you did you. I know you tweeted like something about looking at people shoot. Did you tweet anything particularly about different like not chiseled bodied dudes, or did I
get a lot of questions from fans that are like, will you shoot people who aren't chiseled? And I don't really shoot tons of chiseled dudes. Like, I mean, like I have. It just so happens that like most of the male actually everyone but one male talent that I know of in Toronto has like chiseled abs, which is really strange because that's not representative of the entire community, obviously. But no, you don't have to have chiseled abs to shoot with me. I'm also shooting. I'll be implementing some resources into be shooting new people. So once we finish pre-production for my new company, Porn's Not Dead, it's pornsnotdead.net. I'll be implementing resources to shoot new people who want to break into the industry.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we had, I think that's kind of how.
Yeah. I saw some kind of tweet like that. And then I mean, look, I replied facetiously and then you were like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
fuck. And I'm like, oh. And so for me, and I had explained to you, I was like, well, it's funnier for me to do, like, I'd done one and I was like, well, like, I'm like retired because like, oh, I did like one blowjob thing. And then it was like, I'm good. But I was like, well, if it's for the podcast, I can like justify it. Cause I would love to be like to do a porn thing.
No, it'd be cool. So our idea more or less was that we had talked about was
it the orgy one or the Pepsi challenge? Which one?
It was like hysterical literature, but podcast blowjobs. So like somebody going down on us both while we do the podcast.
That was the third one. Yeah, that one I've wanted to do for so long.
That's super fun. And then we had talked about doing like a shoot that we would cover for your podcast, but it didn't end up happening. AVN is always.
Hey, one day we're gonna do something fun that's sexy on mic and that you can film and sell and make all those big bucks on.
I'm into it.
But I want to do an episode. I love doing stunty episodes like that. Like, I don't know if I told you like any of the things we've done. Like I've did like oral sex auditions where like my friend was like bitching and moaning she couldn't find anyone who like had a high sexual IQ. So I was like, let's hold auditions, and I got 5 guys to go down on her for like 10 minutes, just like as a sampling.
Yeah. I've done stuff like this before. Like my ex and I used to be like both really into the same kind of girls. So it'd be like, oh, like, I bet I can eat pussy better than you. He's like, oh, no, I can eat pussy better than you. So we'd, like, have contests with my friends. I
had a date night, like, a couple years ago where, like, it was, like, 3 couples. We had, like, a little, like, poly date night. And at one point, like, when things were getting sexier, we were like, oh, let's do a thing. So all the guys got blindfolded, and they went around taking turns. You want me to hold? Like they went around taking turns, like giving some blowjobs to everybody, and not for nothing, I was the only one who could identify each and every one of them.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, because like I knew my girlfriend's blowjob. I was like, okay, that's her, and then the other one's oh, this one feels like very thin lips, so this one has to be this person.
Oh
like,
yeah, see, look at you, you got it. You got it down pat. You got it down to a science.
Yeah. But I would love to do an episode like where we'd be talking really just like this with mic stands.
Yeah. With mic stands next time. Come on.
Yeah. And then but they're only going down on us when we're speaking. So like I'm speaking right now and someone
you'd be getting blown and then I would be getting blown right now when I'm talking.
And now I'd be getting and they keep
That's
stopping.
Some like serious workout for those two, whoever we find to do that. Well, if anyone wants to volunteer, you get to have sex with me for free, which usually you don't get. No one really gets to have sex with me for free, so just saying. But
and then it'd be interesting to see like what kind of conversation can we manage to have.
Oh my god, I would win. I'm so good at that. I'm so good at multitasking.
Yeah.
I come up with like really good porn ideas like while getting fucked. I'm just like plan it out in my head. I'm really good at that kind.
What's
of
one that you still want to do?
One that I still want to do is I really, really, really want. Oh my god, there's so many, but let me try and narrow it down to one. I really want to do. I really want to get gangbanged. I want to do like my first gangbang.
You've never been gangbanged?
I've never been gangbanged, and I want to do it like on camera, like Evil Angel style gang. So if Evil Angel wants to do my first gangbang, I'll do it for trade. Just saying.
I mean, and they should. Because Jane's crazy hot and Evangel, like, come on, you know.
I feel like if
you look Evil Angel.
If Evil Angel wants to give me a shot, I feel like they wouldn't be disappointed.
I don't think they would be either.
So I tried to get gangbanged on FetLife, but we couldn't find anybody. We were also not living in the city, so I feel like that might have like influenced it a bit. Where I have a bit smaller pool to look through, but I never even thought to filter through Reddit to do a gangbang. That sounds, but like I've been wanting to do a gangbang. I want to do my first on-film gangbang, but I also want to do a gangbang where it's like $500 a head or something, and then just dudes pay to come in and gangbang me all together. So I'm trying to host one of those too.
Do you think they'll want to? I actually don't know your base. Is 500 a discount for you for your normal rates?
So I usually charge $400 an hour.
Okay.
So 500 for like a couple hours, but then it'd be like 6 dudes, so like 5 times 6, and then for 2 hours, so like. You know, it'd be a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious if the guys are going to want to pay extra to like sort of share.
Well, yeah,
That's what I
because
was thinking.
they want to gangbang people. Like,
So you're going for the
same way-
gang bangers
Yeah.
specifically, not the guys who are, because like
Yeah,
there's a
no.
lot of the guys who are participating in these who are like
Yeah.
they're not. It's not that they're in the gangbangs, but they want to have sex with this person and they're willing
Some people
be
would,
there.
but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I've hosted orgy parties before,
Yeah.
like with clients. You pay like $900 to get into this orgy, and then it's like
you get some other
10
like sex worker
chicks.
friends to
Yeah.
like
So like the group party thing is definitely, at least in Toronto, is definitely like a thing that people are into. So, and I've had lots of interest on the gangbang thing. I just haven't. I've been so busy with my film and with pre-production for Porn's Not Dead that I really haven't had a chance to like sit down and host something. But it's definitely something I'm going to do. So if
I
anyone-
recommend Reddit as a spot. There's a lot
Okay.
of thirsty dudes. You get a lot of people who can't follow instructions, but the thing is, I like to make.
well, that's my job. That's
Right.
my entire job as an escort, is people who can't follow directions.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be okay at it. But no, I recently got on Reddit. So Ginger Banks, who's an online friend of mine, she and I are supposed to be shooting on Sunday.
Oh,
I
she's
hope
great.
it happens. Who knows? AVN is always like, everything's crazy and nothing happens the way it's supposed to. But Ginger has been a big advocate for Reddit, as well as sex worker rights and stuff. She's really great. But as also is like Reddit, so like it's the third most visited site. Like, everyone go on Reddit, and I'm like, that makes sense. So I got on Reddit. I'm still like trying to figure it out, but I am
There's
on there.
a lot of subreddits, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of subreddits that you are like perfect for, just without you doing anything other than just being yourself. Right? Yeah, but they get so hyper specific. Like they have ones like there's a subreddit just called "Boobs Between Arms," and it's
Boobs
just
between
people
arms.
doing like this pose.
Oh.
That's it. It's just that.
Interesting.
There's one just for boobs when hanging down.
Hanging boobs.
When it's
swinging titties.
titty drops, like just
Okay.
taking the shirt off slowly. Like it's so hyper specific.
Well, you'll have to send me some of your favorites because I'm interested to explore this Reddit world.
You know what? On my next session with my little bottle of coconut oil, I will
Yeah.
do a very purposeful search of subreddits to be like, okay,
Thank
we're gonna
you.
go find the good subreddits for Jane.
Find me some good subreddits.
I'll find you some like really good like punk punk porn looking ones
Punk
too.
porn. There's got to be
Tatted people.
R sub porn, punk porn. Oh my god, I can't even speak. I have dyslexia too, so I'm really bad at.
Wait, it was God just trying to be like, I'm really gonna make this difficult.
I know. God's like,
How many
He had
things?
to nerf me. He had to nerf me. I was
What's
too
nerfing?
powerful.
What's nerfing?
Like in video games where you get nerfed if it's usually in like and so like okay, so basically if they make a character in the game that's too powerful, they nerf them to level them out. If usually it's like PvP or PvE games where it's like, okay, so take it. I'll try to figure out an example.
Like, are you talking about giving them like a blaring weak spot or something?
Yeah. So okay. So like, say Smash Bros. Say like one character in Smash Bros. Is like way too good against everybody else. So a nerf is when they make it less powerful to kind of even out the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had to nerf me because I was too powerful.
Did you have you thought that way for a long time?
Oh
Or-
yeah. I am very confident. I wasn't always, but I'm very confident, and I'm very. I think I'm really cool, and if other people don't think I'm cool, they probably aren't that cool. But also, whatever. Like,
Did you find like whenever you learned the term nerfing?
yeah.
Did you ever like did you associate that term to yourself kind
Oh
of?
no,
or-
it's nothing that deep. I just kind
oh,
of came up with it on the spot.
You're like, Billy, you're thinking way too hard about this one.
No, it's okay. I think it was a meme. Probably, I'm just quoting.
Yeah.
I'm a realm of memes.
So also dyslexic, but then you also have another do you get disability?
Yeah, disability. So like,
I can't tell what I'm going to say that's going to get me tweeted at.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So like I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disease.
Okay.
It makes me like really weak in my limbs and my joints, and I dislocate my joints all the time, and I have a lot of like chronic pain and stuff like that. I never get colds though. I never get the flu, but I am really sick.
So how have you like what type of things you have? We've talked about disabled sex like from time to time and like things for different people. I've got some people write in asking for tips, and I'm usually like, oh, I know I'm not the person
let's
for
read
this.
some. Do you have some? Do you want? Show me.
I can. You know what?
Show me some. I'll answer some disability sex questions.
There's specifically one. We've read it on the show. I had somebody record something. I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head, but let's hear your stance on it, because
I'm happy if any of the man whore listeners want to have some disability sex questions, tweet at me, and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, because like I'm far from qualified on that one. I'm just trying to find question. Because I very much remember it, and it was the first time I think I really had to get asked the question, and I was like, "What do I say?" And he's a fella. So I'll read the email out loud again,
okay,
and then you give me your take on it. And some of you might recognize this, so hang tight. Hey Billy, I wanted to shoot you an email regarding sex when one of the adults has a disability. I don't think it's something that isn't really discussed. But I'm of half decent health, but I suffer from cystic fibrosis. This means I can easily get out of breath if I'm doing the hard work. The easy solution in the past has been to let my female partner take the lead and do the hard work, but with some past partners, that's resulted in a boring sex life, and I'm looking to switch it up. I also hate being seen as lazy. I love going down on women, but just struggle sometimes to fuck women for long periods. Any ideas? And also, you should just know this is a cis man writing in.
Okay, cool. Well, no, that's I get that too. I've always been really self-conscious about being lazy, or perceived as lazy. I had an ex of mine who I'd be like, I love when we fuck. He's like, no, I fuck you. Like, and so because he's like, you don't do the work, and I'm like, well, I'm doing the best I can, and that's really all you can do. Is you've just got to do the best you can. If you're, sometimes sometimes the sex just isn't there, right? But if you really work with your partner and you explain like, this is how my body works, and this is how I have things like in porn scenes that I just can't do. Right, I'm like, sorry guys, can't do that.
Anything
or can't
in particular?
Do it. Reverse cowgirl's really hard. Cowgirl is really hard on my knees and my pelvis. Mm-hmm. So I can do cowgirl for a bit, but I usually need the partner to pick up some slack on the underside. But you just got to be aware of what you can and you can't do, and communicate that with your partner, because there's definitely some middle ground there, and the right person isn't going to see you as lazy. I know that's like a hang up that we all have as people with disabilities. It's really hard to be like, oh, I'm a fucking lazy bitch, like what do I do? The wrong people are going to treat you like that, but the right people, the people that you should be fucking, are going to be understanding and be able to work with you.
Prime example, this podcast, normally people are holding the mics. I know your situation, so, but yeah, so it's like, I knew that, and I was like, I'm fine holding the mic.
Yeah.
If you want to hold it sometimes, give it back to me, cool, but like, I am so fine holding that for you, because like, I know that's what's needed for you to do.
And it's because we communicated it beforehand. Yeah. So think of the podcast as we're having sex now.
Yeah.
And then we can...
Well, finally, you've been wanting to think that way for forever. No, it's like, I don't see you as lazy because you like... Yeah,
because these are just my limitations.
Yeah, not that you don't want to hold the mic. That's your limitation. Like, and the same thing will happen in sex. And then someone who freaks is a D-bag.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't want to like... If you are able to hold both mics and you don't because you think I should be carrying my weight, then maybe you'd be shitty. But like, if you're like, no, I'm perfectly capable of holding two mics, so I'm just going to do that. Like... There you go. It's problem solved, right? I mean, sex is just problem solving. And
and communication. And also there's like creativity and think of like, okay, can't do X, Y, and Z, but I could do, you know what? A, B, and C I could do.
Exactly.
I saw a really cool seminar on like fat girl sex. I think her name's Laura Delario. I might be misnaming, or misremembering her name, but, she, at the Brooklyn Sex Expo a couple years ago, she did this really cool, lecture for an hour on like positions and types of toys that like help because like, oh, you have to reach over a little more. Maybe you need like a toy with a longer stem, or here's certain positions that help, or here's a product that helps get your hips up in the right way.
Exactly. And you can always, and there's tons of, if you go to your local sex store, there's going to be tons of stuff too that can maybe give you that little boost that you need to do X, Y, Z and ABC. Yeah. So it's always, or talk to your local sex worker too. Like, hire us for a consultation fee or hire a sex worker.
Period.
And we're creative and fun, and that would be a nice. I would welcome a client who was like, so here are my limitations. What can we do? Like, that'd be exciting for me to kind of figure out how to navigate that in a really exciting way. I think that would be super cool to ask for any sex worker.
How does that work out with clients? Is that something you do need to warn? Do you warn them up front, or
no? I don't warn them. I'm pretty capable. And a lot of escorting is talking about stuff beforehand, and a lot of guys are pretty vanilla. Sure. So it's not really like a big deal. I have my tricks too. Like, if I get tired, I'll just be like, I have to suck your dick right now. Like, you know, there's little
That's
things.
a great trick.
Yeah,
That's a trick you can use really almost anywhere in life. You know, I really got to suck your dick right now. Yeah, sure. You can cut me in line at this concert.
Yeah, exactly. If you put people's dicks in your mouth, then it usually turns out pretty good.
It does help immensely. Big fan. Jane, you've been so much fun to talk to. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Me too.
And hopefully we'll be doing like a porn together someday.
I'm stoked. Let's do it.
That'll be dope. One more time, your handles are at JaneWayXYZ. The website is janeway.xyz, and you have your your porn production company, Porn's Not Dead.
Porn's Not Dead, which is pornsnotdead.net. Feel free to check out my website. Hit me up. My pronouns are they, them, by the way. So don't tweet at me and call me a girl, because that's like a really good way to get me not off on the wrong foot. I'm a disabled sex worker with multiple personalities and a little bit autistic and a little bit dyslexic. And I'm happy I got to talk to you guys today.
And you're also a whole bunch of badass.
I am.
Thanks so much. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.
Janeway, what a delight. I want to know how much they delighted you. Let me get your feedback. I want to know what you thought about the show. You can tweet at me or comment on Instagram. Just search Billy. I noticed everyone's always like giving these different handles, but you know what? You can just search Billy Procida, and I show up at the top. So you don't need to memorize what my handle is. Just search Billy Procida. It's PROCIDA. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Let me know what you thought about the show. You can also comment on the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page. That one you do have to search Man Whore Podcast. But I would love to know what you thought. And if you want to send me your comments, your questions, your titty pictures, you can send that over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. New York City. We've got the Man Whore Podcast live show August 3rd at Karma Lounge. By the way, sponsored by MotorBunny.com. I want to see you there. Get your tickets right now at manwhorepod.com/tickets. If you enjoyed that Chicago live show and you live in the area, you're going to want to see this in person. It's awesome. All right, next week, this weekend I got to go to Montana. I got a wedding I'm going to in Montana. It's my first non-family adult wedding. So we'll see how that goes. And next week we've got an episode coming out with stand-up comedian and podcaster and let's just say he's got some opinions on being a man. Dante Nero, everybody. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and stay slutty.